All right, we're back on it. We got big ambitions for today. Figure out how to get this air pump monstrosity hooked up. I want to get all the front accessories done. This is my AC delete bracket, which I got the other bracket soaking in some simple green. And I want to get the intake installed. I'd love to get the distributor set in. Then I can go around adjusting the valves, which I'll actually do that first before installing the intake. No, I'll install the intake, get the distributor in, since it'll be at top dead center. And then, yeah, just keep on cooking with this thing. Little by little, day by day. Well, once every couple days. Yeah. So, here we go. Watch. Yep. Thanks, Rick, for fixing me up.
It's a chemical shower.
It's a chemical shower.
It's a chemical shower. There you go.
I've been hanging on to that friggin' can for
too long.
Oh, it's lost all of its whatever it had. It's just gone.
Spent its last
load.
It's
done. Oh well, it happens. Sit rep. Got the AC bypass pulley installed. I'm reasonably happy with that. Seems pretty well lined up. This bracket, which is a smog pump relocation or eliminating bracket, came with the wrong size bolts. I got them all in my pocket here. So this is the right thread pitch bolt, but these two are incorrect. So I need to go to Home Depot and get those. And while I'm there, I'm going to get some pipe plugs for the cylinder heads. Yeah, so that's where we're at now. But I am going to plop the intake manifold on. And I've got a new set of gaskets. Top, rear port. Very nice. Yeah, so that'll work out good. Those will line up. So I'm going to just go ahead and get the intake manifold dropped on here, and then I'll head to Home Depot and see what I can get for bolts. Oh, the other thing, the lights are right in front of your face. Sorry. The other thing I did is I took these manifold or these valve covers and I just fogged them with some VHT paint. They're not perfect, but they're better than what they were. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to run that the way they are. Yeah. Anywho, so I guess we'll be back when that's done. All right, got the gaskets laid in place. China walls are built up. I'm going to go ahead and just set this guy on here. This is always a pretty intense process. Okay, let's see how we did. Sorry, I was holding my breath. Should be talking through it, but I wasn't. I think we're good. So I'm going to get some bolts started on that, and I'll snug them up when I come back from Home Depot. All right. Well, I ran to the Hardmore store and grabbed some 5/16. I'm sorry. 5/16, 3/8-16 bolts, 5 inches. Cut them down to 4.5 inches, and that got this upper mount bolted up, no problem. I loosened the lower mount for the alternator so it could rotate a little bit. This is now in position and good to go. Next thing to do, I also installed my idler pulley, which is right here. I know I'm going to have a fun time on the there we go. I'm going to have a real fun time on the water pump when I get there. But at least I don't have all this AC crap in my way. Not too worried about it. And I got room here to see what I'm doing. So, I mean, really just reaching my hand down to move on with life. It's not bad. I need to look in my shop manual and see where this is going. I think this might be, it's a hard line. And I have no idea where that's going to. Down there, I need to look at the shop manual and see what that means. But I'm going to go ahead and throw my belt on here. Boy, that doesn't look like it's going to line up, does it? Well, it might line up. I don't know. I guess we'll see. Anyway, I got my belt here, and I can't remember where it is. Oh, the belt's on the cowling up here. Belt routing, excuse me, is right. No, it's not. There it is. It's right over there. Let me go back to the other side. Some diagram was over there. There we go. So that's the accessory drive belt routing. And we're going to go ahead and get this done. How am I going to set you guys up since there's like no steel on this thing at all? Well, how about we just set it up like that as best as we can, and hopefully I won't knock you over. I can still see the belt routing, so no problem there. This goes like that, it goes like that, it goes straight down to the crank, which is always fun considering how far down it is. There we go. So that's that. Then it's down the water pump like so, like that, and nope, that won't work, Paul. There we go. There we go, that's lined up. So, when I move this forward, that should give me the room I need to slide that there. There we go. Hey, turbo. Belt drive hooked up. And everything lines up enough. I'm fairly confident. Boy, that doesn't seem that tight. Well, I did move some things. That's right, that's right. Yep. Up and over. Around. That's down. That ain't gonna do. So I think I may need a shorter belt. But I'm not gonna let that stop me. I got this torqued down. I'm going to go ahead and install the upper radiator hose drop the distributor in, and I got great access to my fuel lines here. I see which one's the feed and which one's the return. They're currently right here. I'm gonna make them, I think I'll just try to bend the return up. I'm not real sure. Maybe I'll leave it up there for now. That might be wise. Just leave it up there for now. Yeah, so the belt's routed properly. Not sure what I could do different on installing these. Oh, I can tell you. If there's room on that alternator to push that away, I have another hole right here. So let me try that, see if that works. Alright, that worked a treat. I added a washer to space this arm out a little bit more. You'll see that there on the end, up there in the middle of the screen. Pulling this pulley this way gave enough tension, so now I got tension on the belt and everything should be good to go. So in case you're wanting to know, this was air conditioning. That's your idler pulley, that's your crankshaft pulley, that's your water pump pulley. This is where the smog pump was, that's the alternator over there, and this is your power steering pump. So yeah, so that's it. I need to find the O-ring. Oh no, what happened to that O-ring? Oh, it's still in there. I don't know that that's... How did that seal before? Did it even seal? No way. I need to look for that. But yeah. Anyway, things are going good so far. Shoo, buddy. It's looking like a car. Now, clearly, I don't have any headers on this thing yet. Don't have any wires. There's no gasket on the carb. I've only got the upper hose installed. I gotta do the lower hose. Gotta connect the exhaust up, but before I do that, I gotta reseal my Doug Nash transmission pan. But I don't know, man, for a quick spray down, it's pretty cool. I think it looks pretty darn cool. I've got the new gaskets in there. Oops, I need to wipe that up. Apparently made a mess over there. And I also need to set the valves properly and all that. But I just wanted to get this covered up. So that's the whole goal here. This thing is now covered up. Got a Edelbrock 2101 Performer intake that someone hogged out the bolt holes to fit on a different style set of engines. I got my Chinesium MSD style distributor. I called it Edelbrock in another video. I've got a Chinese knockoff AVS2 that I went through that I know runs and runs better than the Holley, although I'd like to throw the Holley on at some point and see how that goes. Yeah. I even think I might have a throttle body bracket that might work. Maybe. I'd be curious about that. Well, throttle body bracket, that's not what I mean. I mean, that could work. It's not perfect. Or maybe I can, I don't know, figure something out. But I have a universal one coming anyway. But tonight was a good night. Got all the accessories on. Got the belt ran. Installed the intake manifold. Painted the valve covers. Installed the distributor. Hooked up the top water hose. Oh, look at that piece of hot rodding right there. See that, fella? Yeah, I just went and got some NPT, I think it's 1/2 inch NPT plug, and just jam that in there. I don't think I'll have any clearance issues, not too worried about it, but yeah, we're getting there. I think the next time I'm going to be able to work on this is probably Friday. Probably, maybe, I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, I'm going to get cleaned up and go inside. It is currently 11:15. I'm wired because I'm having so much fun. I don't know why, but I just enjoy the heck out of this. It's because I'm sick, probably. That makes sense. Yeah. You probably can't see a darned thing. That's okay. You'll survive. That's probably the way that goes. I do hate this chrome air cleaner. I'll probably flat black that. I think that would look cool. Don't really care about looks. Really care about functionality. But yeah, I could reuse this throttle bracket that I just ground on, but I was never really happy with it. So that's going to go away at some point. I'm going to go with a more basic adjustable style, but victory is mine. Anyway, go out and do something. Find the time and do something. And if you don't have anything to do, find something to do. Idle time is the devil's workshop, as the saying goes. So find something to do and get after it. Oh, hey. So, I'm out here again. I worked till 10:45 last night. Not much has changed. But I do have a carburetor studs on. I've got the gasket in. I have plans, but yeah, anywho, one of the things I'm going to do is I got a new transmission cooler. Since the fittings I have will not work for the factory one, I'm just going to bypass them and just run hose. So I'll wind up cutting these factory lines down and putting the that cooler down underneath here. I'll try to get a good picture of it, but this needs to be cut down and that one needs to be cut down and some hoses run, which I've got room on the side there. Yeah, I need to get that done. I'm probably going to do some welding on the exhaust manifolds, but before I do that, I'm going to get this up in the air and I'm going to replace the gasket for the Doug Nash 4+3. Get the headers done. If I'm lucky, I might get them bolted up. We shall see. But yeah, that's the plan. Whew, we'll see how it goes. Well, come on, pause. Nope. Alright, so I got the pan off. A lot of these bolts, and I got a new gasket here. I just tried using RTV before, and that just did not seal it up properly. It sealed most of it up, but not all of it. So I still got to scrape the old stuff off of this guy, get it cleaned up enough to be able to, I don't know, do things. Get it cleaned up, you know. I got a new filter here. Dirty secret, word on the street. It's just a Ford FMX filter. Nothing special. Shop manual says to replace this oil once a year or every 12,000 miles. If I put 12,000 miles in this thing, I'll be amazed. So hopefully if I get this sealed up and it won't leak and it works, I won't have to be in here. Crossing my fingers. So I just wanted to tackle this while I had the whole thing up in the air. I should also dump the oil out of it as well while I'm down here, which I will do. Yeah, so that's what it looks like. It's just a baby, just a tiny guy. So I'm going to yank that off, replace my little gasket O-ring thing, get it cleaned up. And these bolt holes are notorious for stripping out. So I'm debating on, and I've got a couple that are stripped. I mean, these are, you can't really tell, although in my hand you could probably tell how small it is. These are just little guys. They're all 10 mils. Some of them are stripped out, and some of them grab just a tiny amount. But I need to come up with some solution so I can deal with that a little bit better. Yeah, so anywho, that's what I'm doing under here. No real reason to film this for anybody, so yeah, I'm just gonna enjoy my time underneath the car. Fun, fun, fun. Alright, it took a little time, but I got the valve body reinstalled. I took it down because I wanted to check the orientation of some check balls and whatnot. I'm pretty sure, not 100%, but there's a check ball here, and then there's a check ball on the other side, a little mid plate, and then this whole thing bolts up to the actual transmission housing. So this is technically the valve body, this whole thing. This is a solenoid that actuates it. I know this solenoid works. I've already verified that. So I need to get the filter installed. And once the filter's installed, then I can prep these surfaces. I got to get them clean. I got to put some RTV on both sides of the gasket, and then get this thing snugged up, and then come up with a solution for the bolt holes that I'm having problems with. Like this one, this is a blind hole. This one's a through hole. That's a through hole, through hole. It's just kind of a mess. So I just hope I can get the thing snugged up enough. That's the whole plan here. And then I gotta refill the transmission, but I want to install that transmission cooler first. And that's gonna be a challenge in and of itself. No, installing it's not bad, but adding fluid to this thing is just a federal case. They say that there's, maybe it's on the other side of the transmission. I haven't seen it, but they say that there's a drain and fill hole similar to how this has got one here and here. This is the drain for the gear for the actual 4-speed, and this is the overdrive unit. I don't know, this may be a giant fail, but whatever. I will do what I can. Well, and there we are. We got the pan installed. There are a couple loose bolts, but I think I'm going to be okay. We'll see. I'm not going to add transmission fluid tonight, just because I want that to spend its time setting up in hopes that I have a good seal. I did use the right stuff on both sides of the gasket, so I'm just hoping that that did the trick. I'll pretty much know right away, because as soon as I add the correct amount of fluid, it'll start weeping. It started weeping up here first time, and then a little bit on the back as well. But alright, time to move to the front, figure out how to mount this transmission cooler that I showed you a little bit earlier. Yeah. Alright, here we are, located at the front of the car. Got this cool little whatever that is. I'm assuming that's supposed to attach to that. I have no idea. Anyway, so here's my cooler. It's just a simple in and out. There's no directional. I'm thinking of just mounting this guy right up there. I think that's going to do the job just fine. So the couple of things that are going to be kind of fun is I need to take the top off of the radiator so I get better access to this. What would be cool is to install a couple rib nuts on the bottom of this and then just bolt it in from the bottom. This is nice and solid. That's metal. This is plastic. That's metal, or that's metal or really hard plastic. I don't even know. I drilled some drain holes already. Fiberglass, that's fiberglass. But anyway, yeah, so that's the plan. And we'll see how that goes. That's the worst riv nut job ever. But there's M5s implanted in there. I only stripped out some of the threads. That one's real fun. One on the left's kind of sad. He's leaning over there. But this should still do the job. So I think what I'm going to attempt to do is get this up in here and just set her down in there somehow. We got plenty of lateral movement, so that's no problem. The radiator will push back a little bit, but that's the idea. I just need to find the holes and mark them underneath here, which is probably the best thing to do, is just kind of maybe drain the oil, which is just a milkshake, of course. If I just set it up here like this and kind of just mark it, kind of a cool spot for it, but I know that I'll hit something and destroy it, so I'm not going to do that. But if I do something like this and just mark it, I think I should be good. So I don't have any M5 bolts. I got all the nuts in the world, but I don't have the bolts, so I need to go and get those tomorrow. And just kind of try to figure this out. Yeah, I think I got a pen. I can probably mark it. That'd be good. Alright, this was a lot more of a pain in the ass than I expected it to be. But I've got the throttle linkage hooked up. And I need to figure out a way to secure that a little bit better. Probably just tighten down on that, but this works good. Just hodgepodge stuff together. Let's see if you can even see what's going on. It's secondaries and everything, so looks like that's going to work just fine. No binding. We're set to go. Well, I think. Oh, that's going to conclude tonight's festivities. Didn't get nearly as much done as I wanted. Didn't even touch the welder. But whatever. It's the way it goes. Yeah. Just keep going. Find something to do. Do it. Well, got the welding rig set up. This is my new prime weld. I just replaced the wire with some Blue Demon. It's highly rated on Amazon, and this is working great so far. I've already got this one welded up. I just dressed the holes. This one's going to be a pain in the butt. It's going to take a long time, but you can see it goes pretty good. It's not too hard. I'll grind those down, make them look a little bit nicer, although it doesn't really matter. But yeah, getting there. I know I look, there we go. That's more normal. Anywho, I'm just going to keep after it. And I will show you the finished product here, and with any luck, I got time to probably throw on both headers. That would be killer. And with that, driver's side header is bolted up. You can see they're fine. They're sealed up. They're good. I didn't even bother with torque specs on this. I did clean up the flange surface a little bit. These guys fit just fine, so that's good. This is the top of those there. They're good. They're gonna work great. Yeah. Whew. I'm gonna try to get the other one in. I got like 15 minutes to get that in, and then I got to go in and clean up. So yeah, things are going good. Turbo. All right, I got the headers on just in time for me to take them off because I have to get these shields off. The angles of the spark plugs are much sharper, and with those shields in the way, I can't get the spark plugs in, which is, I guess, China. What I expect for getting China parts. Although these were not cheap. But it may be a Corvette specific thing, and anyone else who's got an angled plug, it's no problem. But for some reason on this one, it's causing me a problem. So, I did get the thermostat in, which is part of what my problem was before. I'm like, well, gee, I feel like I'm missing an O-ring. And I wasn't missing an O-ring, I just didn't have the thermostat in. Before that, I flushed the block. Just ran water straight through the intake and straight out the water pump hole. I think I am going to try to plumb up heat, but I need to figure out where this other hose is going. I'm thinking maybe the oil cooler. It's the only thing I can think of. Got the lower rad hose on and installed. That one will be once I get the transmission cooler figured out and then mounted, but that won't be too big of a deal. So yeah, I got to pull those headers off and take those shields off and see if that gets me any more room. Otherwise, I'm not real sure what I can do other than just heat them and beat them to get some more room in there, which is, I'm not opposed to. I'd really hate to buy Corvette specific headers. That would be really frustrating. But anywho, so that is coming off the water pump, as you can see. That hose right there, that pipe, that's the feed to the heater core, and then this will be my return. So I've got another sensor on order that's going to go back on that side of the engine block. And yeah, so I got to call it quits for tonight. The other weird thing is that guy was not seating. And I see that it takes a flathead screwdriver, so I'm going to unscrew that a little bit. It looks like it's more compressed than the other side, which I don't think I turned those in, but it's entirely conceivable. This mechanism actuates just fine, so I'm not really worried about that. But yeah, anywho, so that'll do it for this evening. Churchy church tomorrow. Make sure you get out there and do something. Find something to do and then start doing it. You'll find out what you're made of. It's kind of tough to tell, but I figured out the problem with these cylinder heads. You can see the spark plugs. This one is definitely hitting right here, so I'm going to have to bash that in. This one doesn't have enough clearance for the boot, and we'll just melt the boot as soon as possible. Same with this one over on that side, and this one's got the most room towards the back. But yeah, I'm just gonna have to beat that thing, heat it up, and then beat it with a ball peen hammer. So, oh joy, I get to make some noise. Yeah, good stuff. So I beat on the exhaust manifolds and got pretty much the clearance I needed, but unfortunately beating on this side over here and this side bent the whole thing down, and now it doesn't line up at all. So I guess I'm buying shorties. Anywho, all that work for no reason, which, you know, you never know. So I gotta buy some shorties, which I will. I did manage to get this thing mounted up. The cooler is mounted up. It should be fine. This is the feed or the return line back into the transmission cooler, and this is from the transmission cooler. So I'm just going to run some hoses. I honestly think that those fittings are way too big. I mean, they neck down and they get real small anyway, so I'm going to yank that on out and then remove those fittings and see if I can find some smaller fittings, because you can see the diameter of this. It's maybe 5/16, probably 5/16, and those are much larger fittings. So I'm going to yank that out, pull those fittings out, and go over to what's it called, AutoZone, because I'm going to get some hose, and then I can fill the transmission, see if I have any leaks, and get those hoses hooked up, and then I'm going to leave the top undone here. Oh man, I've beaten this up. Yeah, I beat that up with the upper part of the transmission line. Anywho, that's just what happens, so hopefully it'll be okay. It wasn't terribly expensive if I have to get a new one. But that's the thing. There's not a whole lot I can do tonight since I'm missing headers. I got this pipe plug out that I did. I'm going to move the coolant sensor into that. Then that'll run the fan. So I'll deal with that later. And then as far as thermostat, I'm sorry, not thermostat, but cooling, or heating rather, back to the heater core, that's these two hoses here. And so again, this has like a three-way thing. I still haven't researched that, where that goes, but I'll do that tonight. But I should be able to get heat. When I yank this out, I will put my little water neck thingy bob on it, and then to bypass it, I would just run a hose straight up to this water neck up here. That would be the ticket. This is only accessible because I deleted the air conditioning. Otherwise, I'd have to yank the air conditioning compressor off to get it over here. I've still yet to figure out what I want to do with the fuel return. Those take a very convoluted route. You can see those hoses. So they go down, they come up here, they go down, and then they come out right here. And this is all carefully run to keep it away from the exhaust. So I don't really want to deal with that quite yet. Yeah. So, anywho, yeah. So I got some things to work out, some things to solve, but that's okay. You know, everything takes time. And so another evening goes by the wayside. Yep. Turn this off. Oh, that's the wrong one. That's the right one. Yep. So, 'tis what it is. You win some, you lose some. And, yeah. It's okay. Fight another day. Yay, I get shorty headers. Not that I wanted them or needed them, but they'll probably be better than these. The real problem is with these heads is the angle of the spark plugs. If they're kind of pointing downward, if they had pointed straight out at an angle, then I wouldn't have an issue. But since they don't do that, they have an issue. So yeah. Anyway, find something to do and get after it. Well, I'm in a pickle. It's not too bad, but I need to figure it out. So remember how the spark plugs were hitting the exhaust manifolds, the factory ones? Well, I need to get some shorties that are going to work. And part of the problem is, well, I'll just show you. Here's the factory 1.5 inch tubed header. The joins are there together. And then here's a set of shorties that I got that I know fit the block and the spark plugs will clear. But you see, I got some angle problems. Like my fancy jig. Yeah, you could say I'm a carpenter. I mean, it's not terrible. Like, this is meeting at the right angle, I think. Well, not really. It's almost like I'd hate to cut up a good set of shorties. Maybe I find something different. That might be smart. I guess I'll look online, see what I can figure out. This is probably the worst stumbling block I've come up to. I don't really want to destroy the shorty pipe that I've got, the mid pipe, just to make these work. But if I got to, I got to. I mean, I don't have any flanges for this, so there's no loss there. What I was initially thinking is I could cut this off. I mean, my thought process is that if I mounted both of these flush with my 2x4 jig here, I could kind of see what angle what needs to be. Maybe I don't need block huggers, because these are 1 5/8 block huggers. I have no idea what brand. I just snagged them off of Marketplace. That's quite a difference. This here really runs about here, and I don't think there's anything I can do to match that up. Like, if it was all down here, chop off the flange and make it work, but it's pretty clear this isn't going to work. I'm glad I did this though, because this kind of reveals what I'm working with here. And that it shows the difference, how they made this work. And I don't know what it is about the Corvette chassis that makes it work this way, but these are quite a bit different shape. The previous owner did some clearancing, which is no big deal. It's crazy what Chevy did from the factory, or whoever they sourced these out to. I do know these are stainless. That's what I've been told. That's what the internet says, but you can see how these are just hammered and flattened to get into there. I mean, this is how wide the pipe is, and then they just smash it flat and weld it in there, where these stay nice and round at the collector. Well, this is a good visual. If you wanted to see how I did it, I mean, there's no magic to putting this on the jig. I just ran some screws. Don't mind that, that was pre-existing. But I just ran some screws into this to kind of wedge it in. Did the same thing here. Yeah, boy. Well, I got figuring to do. I mean, it's not only is it shorter here, but this definitely kicks up like this compared to this. I mean, if I were to put this flange here, it'd have to go like right about there, and there is just no way to make that work. So these are going to have to go back on Marketplace. I'm going to have to figure something out. Maybe I go stupid and see if I can find some long tubes. Don't mind this stuff over here. This X pipe is still good, and that's for an LS. And those are the Chinese long tubes that came. Well, I bought them when I bought that car. Paid $100 for all this piping, which I figured was a good start. But those are LS, completely different bolt pattern, so that won't work for me. But that mid pipe I might be able to reuse once it's down there. So if I get some long tubes, I might be able to figure something out. And then I can get rid of that mid pipe, which is a bummer because it is a nice little piece, big fat pipe. Yeah. Alright, happy Easter, y'all. Well, I found my solution to the header problem, and that involves opening my wallet. So what I wound up doing was buying Hedman just street long tube headers. They have a California executive order number on them, so that means that if I get pulled over or whatever, it'll have the stamp that the cop will be looking for. I'm not really worried about it. I figured for the extra $50 over the non-California compliant, it was just worth just doing that. So that's what I did. Those will be here Friday. I'll get them bolted up, get water in the engine, get the spark plugs on, get the wires on, and then it comes with paint on the headers that are just to keep them from rusting. So what you have to do is you have to fire the engine up, get it hot for 5, 10, 15 minutes until the paint just flakes off on its own. And then that'll be clean. You just brake clean them, and then that'll be clean enough for you to go ahead and coat them properly with a high temp paint. And I'm probably just going to do barbecue paint because, well, I'm cheap. I don't really have a problem with that. So that's the plan. Those will be here this Friday. There's a bunch I can do to the car, but I don't want to do a bunch to the car. So I'm not going to do a bunch to the car. What I am going to do is finish getting this guy installed. I got the proper hose bibs or barb fittings, and I'm running a hose through a couple holes that I punched in the side. They're going to run over here and connect up to the factory hard lines. I need to fill this thing up, and I'm pretty sure that this is the one that returns. I just need to verify that, so I'll actually have to take that off. What I could do is just move this up to over here for now. But I think that's going to be the play, is to get this, the transmission filled up, and then I can see if I got a leak going on. And then I'm going to get the radiator hook back up, get the shroud back up, maybe put water in it. I don't know. One of the things I definitely want to do is I want to take these LQ4 springs and heads and valves out, just clean them up, or at least get these kind of cleaned up and see if someone's interested in them. They're a large chamber for what I'm going to wind up doing. That's not really what I'm looking for. I'm not going to add boost to these things or anything. So yeah, boy, that valve on the L98 sure doesn't look like it's seated very well. Yeah, I'll bet you that those were just tired, but kind of like me, I'm kind of tired. So anywho, that's the plan. I'll just let you know how far I get today. Maybe I can even hook the battery up and wing this thing over and see if I get oil pressure. I put 5.5 quarts of oil in it, new oil filter. Like to just wing it over and check for leaks. I don't think I'm going to have any leaks, but couldn't hurt. Maybe get the rest of the plumbing hooked up, the heater core stuff set up. Basically, that hose is going to connect right to there, and then from here, and then I need to jump from here over to here. And what's pretty cool is that it looks like all my hoses are going to work just fine, the factory stuff. So I'm pretty happy about that. But yeah, that's the plan. Nothing fancy going on here, just slowly but surely inching away at it. I'd really like to be able to take this thing around a block in Mexico at some point. But yeah, we'll get there.